Hi folks, how you all doing? Will here back for another fight card prediction. I'm going to be breaking down UFC 182, Jones v Cormier. First of all, I'd like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. It's very early on here in the morning, on Christmas morning. Just thought I'd get this video made. I'd like to thank everybody for watching my video throughout 2014. I love all the conversations that have kind of came from this. It's been brilliant. It's what I was looking for, to speak with people about the sport that I love watching. So thank you very much. Getting the fight card, if you think Jon Jones is going to win this fight, can you give a thumbs up? If you think Daniel Cormier can win this fight, give me a thumbs down. As I say, we're going to get straight into this. So UFC 182, Jones v Cormier, aka Hey Pussy, are you still there? Aka Fuck John. You hear that, John? Brilliant, love it. Every time I see it, I watch on a daily basis. I'm getting pumped for this fight card. A lot of good fights throughout the card, fighters I'm looking forward to seeing. It's just going to be a good way to start off 2015. So starting down in the women's bantamweight division, we've got Alexis Dufresne against Marion Renault. Dufresne is 5-1, Renault is 4-1. I watched Renault back in the summer at RFA 15, I think it was 16, on the Josh Copeland main evented card there, where she won by TKO. She's kind of stifling. She likes to get you to the ground. She's got very heavy ground and pound, and that's what she will try and do against Dufresne here, who lost her UFC debut to Sarah Moraes, with 2 of her wins coming by TKO and 2 by submission. I remember watching a couple of days ago. This is all about Renault getting there and just smashing the life out of Dufresne. If Dufresne keeps us on the feet, she will win it. But I actually think Renault's got the advantage here. I think she's got a better gas tank as well, and she gets into her takedowns very well and gets down, and when she gets it to the ground, she stops fights. So I'm going to go Renault by a split decision. It's going to be quite close, I think. Next up in the welterweight division, we've got Omari Akhmedov against Matt Nilsson. Matt Nilsson, I watched both these guys last time they fought in the UFC in London. Met both guys, very lovely guys. Akhmedov was actually quite funny. He didn't really understand much English, but he was trying to make some jokes and stuff like that, which was actually quite cool. And Matt Nilsson was just a gentleman. So getting into breaking down the fight, I think Akhmedov will look for taking him down and try and pound them out. He has got knockout power. He throws big looping punches. They were both against opponents last time that they shouldn't really be facing. Akhmedov was facing Gunnar Nelson. Matt Nilsson was facing Luke Barnett. And Matt Nilsson, he just kind of, you could see him fading throughout the first round. I could see it. It was at middleweight. Excuse me. Down to welterweight here. He maybe have a little bit better cardio than he showed in the first fight. But I don't think it's going to be enough. I think Akhmedov can finish this fight. Had a look at some of the lines today, and Akhmedov inside the distance is a pretty good bet. May throw some money on that. I like Akhmedov to finish the fight. I'm going to go early in the third round. I'm going to go a TKO for Akhmedov. Moving on to the preliminary card in Fox Sports 1, we've got Evan Dunham against Rodrigo Damm. Damm coming off a loss to Ali Akinta. I think he's had a couple of losses in a row, so he could be fighting for his job here. Where Evan Dunham's, he's lost 4 of his last 5 with only a split over Gleison Tibau in his last 5 fights that he won there. I think this is a fight pretty much made for Evan Dunham. If he can't win this fight, he needs to step away from the sport, plain and simple. Damm, he will probably go to another organisation out there. I think if Dunham maybe loses this fight, we maybe not see him fight in MMA again. But I think this is a fight made for him. I think he's got the advantage pretty much everywhere, and he can stop the fight. I like Evan Dunham by a TKO in the second round. I think he'll get him to the ground and he'll pound him out down there. So I will go Evan Dunham by TKO. Next up, we've got Shawn Jordan against Jared Cannonier. Cannonier is 8-1. Fought most of his fights, I think, in the AFC. I watched some of them today. A guy who kind of really doesn't utilise much of his power. He has got knockouts on his record. If he threw more, I think he would knock more people out. He's a big guy, 255 pounds. Nice heavy shots, but he kind of plods along a little bit and tries to take the fight down and manoeuvre down there and use a heavy kind of top game. Shawn Jordan, we know he kind of comes in blitzes and he can be very, very effective in those blitzes. Coming off a win over Jack May back, I think it was late summer. I actually like the underdog in this fight here. I think if he can get off to a good start, if he gets off to a good start, Cannonier usually does very well. I'm going to go Cannonier by a surprise TKO in the first round. Next up, we've got Marcus Brimage against Cody No Love Garbrandt. Now, anybody that knows me, I love Team Alpha Male. I think they're a fantastic, fantastic team. They have so many fighters coming up through there. You run off the names. You've got Andre Feely, you've got TJ Dillashaw, Chad Mendes, and this is a new one that's coming in. And I've been following for about a year, and today, during a bit of kind of spare time, I watched all of his fights again, even some of his amateur fights. And this guy, I think, is going to be a great addition to the UFC 135 bantamweight division. He is just extremely well-balanced fighter in so many aspects of the sport. He was a wrestling champion in Ohio, a state champion. Very, very good when it goes to ground. You can see some of the takedowns that he's shown. You can see a lot of kind of Lance Palmer, who he obviously works with quite a bit at Team Alpha Male. Some of his takedowns, I've watched that, and Lance Palmer, and they're very, very similar. His striking is phenomenal. Knockout of Dominic Mazzota, who is a guy who I think will be in the UFC with a couple more wins himself. That was a pretty exciting first round between them two takedowns. Got into the second round, knocked him out. Beat Charles Stanford as well with a beautiful barrage to the body. And his clinch game's very, very good as well. I think this guy, I've put big money on this guy to beat Marcus Brimage. Brimage is coming off a head kick knockout of Jumabit Toshon. He has been improving as a fighter. You can see that working at American Top Team. I just really like this Garbrandt guy. I think he's got a lot of quality. I think he times his shots very well. He's got a good mix of shots as well. He's got very heavy leg kicks, which I've seen. And he's got heavy knees as well. He's just I think he's a great addition to this division. I think he's going to beat a lot of top quality people in the division. I'm going to go Garbrandt's 5-0 with 5 TKOs. He has been knocked out in amateurs by a one shot by Jarrell Hodge, so that's something to keep in mind here. To keep away, I think if he gets through the first round against Brimage, I think he will outwork him and probably get a decision. So I'm going to go Cody Garbrandt to get the first decision in his professional MMA career. Next up, we've got Danny Castillo, who's just got his black belt, I think the last day or two, against Paul Felder. Felder's a very good kickboxer. Coming off a win over Jason Sago in Canada earlier on this year. Had a stunning victory by a wheel kick in the CFFS promotion against Danny Castillo, who is coming off a loss, I believe, to Tony Ferguson, I think it was, at UFC 177 it was, and then should have probably beat Edson Barbosa, beat Charlie Brenneman by knockout next time out. I think Danny Castillo's just an all-round better fighter. He's going to take him down here and pound him out. I'm going to go, and I think he could do it first round. I'm going to go second round TKO for Danny Castillo. If not, I think it'll be a very lopsided decision for Castillo. Next up, onto the main card of UFC 182, Jones v Cormier. Hector Lombard against the returning Josh Burkman, who's returned, I think, after about 6 years? 5.5, maybe 5.5, 6 years. Went to the World Series of Fights, did very well there. Beat some good guys there as well. He's only lost, I think, his last 5 or 6 fights was to Steve Carl. He got submitted in the 4th round. Beat Tyler Sinston last time out. John Fitch, he caught him in that very quick guillotine choke. Aaron Simpson, Gerald Harris. So he's fought some and beat some decent names out there. Hector Lombard is an absolute beast, and I think the way that division's looking, he probably faces Rory McDonald if he wins this fight. Fighting at American Top Team, he's looked brilliant since he's went down to this welterweight division. Beat Jake Shields last time out very convincingly. Took him down, went into his game, Shields' most kind of dominant forte of the game, and that was his jiu-jitsu. Stifled anything that Shields threw at him. He's got phenomenal judo, great takedowns, and he's very heavy. I just think he needs to push himself a little bit more to finish these fights. Beat Nate Marquardt by a very quick KO at UFC 66. I like Hector Lombard a lot here. I think he needs to finish this fight, and I believe he will do. And I'm going to go in the first round as well. Next up, a fight I'm really looking forward to seeing, Kyoji Horiguchi against Louis Gaudinot. Last time I saw Louis Gaudinot fight was in London. I think did that result not get overturned to a no contest? It did. I think he failed a drugs test or tested positive for something, but he should never have been in there with Phil Harris. That was a gimme. Had a drink with a guy, cool guy. He had a kid not long ago, so congratulations on that. I just think Horiguchi is the next guy to step up and face Demetrius Johnson, and I think he will do it. I think he'll stop Louis Gaudinot here, and I think he'll do it fairly convincingly. I think he'll do it in the first round as well, so I'm going to go Kyoji Horiguchi. I think he's going to submit him. Knock him out in the first round. So Horiguchi, first round TKO. Next up in the middleweight division, we've got Brad Tavares against Nathan Marquardt. Since I think Marquardt went up to 185 pound division again to fight James Tuhuna, and he stopped him. I think it was a choke, was it? An armbar back in June, in New Zealand in the main event against James Tuhuna. Coming back up from the welterweight division, where he had a pretty successful run down there against Brad Tavares, who's just a really solid fight in that division. He'll give a lot of people a very, very good fight. He's very close, I think, to getting into that top 10. He's probably reached his limit once he hits that top 10, but he's a tough guy to put away. He's a tough guy to get shots off on. Marquardt needs to finish this round fight in the first round. If he doesn't, I think Brad Tavares will have once it goes into the second round, he will take him down. He'll just pepper him with shots. May get a stoppage. I can't see it. I like Brad Tavares by a decision in this fight. It might maybe a split, but Brad Tavares for me will get the win. Next up, the co-main event of the evening is a very, very good matchup. I'm really looking forward to this one. Donald Cowboy Cerrone against Myles Jury. Jury is a guy who's just been coming up that division for the last year, 18 months, beating really good people, starting to knock people out, beat Diego Sanchez easily, put him to the side, which was always going to be. He's a technical fighter, he's got great technical striking, he's pretty rangy as well, and he can hit you from a long way out, and he gets into his takedowns very well too. Beat Diego Sanchez, knocked out Takanori Gomi in Japan in the first round. Made it look easy. Mike Ricci before that, Ramsey Najem by a one-punch knockout. Donald Cerrone, you can't really say much more. The guy is one of the best fighters in the world to watch. Dismantled Eddie Alvarez in his UFC debut. Was phenomenal to see. Should have stopped him. I don't know why he went to the ground in the third round with Eddie Alvarez at UFC 178. He had a really good 2014 with wins over Adriano Martins, great knockout back in January. Edson Barboza, jab straight into the rear naked choke was phenomenal. Double kind of head kick knockout against Jim Miller back in July, and then that fight against Eddie Alvarez where he looked elite. But with Donald Cerrone, you just don't know what Donald Cerrone is going to show up, and he's probably due one of his performances where he doesn't really show his true potential, and I think this might happen in this fight. And I think that Jury can get him down and he can hurt him down there. Of course, Cerrone has definitive submission skills as well. But I think that Jury is savvy enough to negate all that Cerrone has and get a decision. So I'm going to go Myles Jury by unanimous decision. And on to the main event of the night. This fight is just phenomenal. We all know the background between Jones and Cormier. They've been jibing each other for years. Then it all kicked off at that conference where Dave Shola was in the middle. Fuck knows what was going on there. Jones put his head to Cormier. Cormier pretty much pushed him away by the throat, and then just shit went down from there. A lot of people know I'm a big Jon Jones fan. I respect the hell out of Daniel Cormier. I think he's such a great fighter. This is Jon Jones' toughest fight. I don't care about Alexander Gustafsson or Machida for style-wise. Daniel Cormier is a legit threat to Jon Jones here. He's the guy that I've been worrying about for the last few years as a Jon Jones fan. But when the fight was made, I was a little bit apprehensive. But the closer this fight gets, I see Jon Jones really toying with Daniel Cormier. I think he'll take Cormier down. I think Cormier will take Jones down. I can see Jones keeping. I think he's got like a 12-inch reach advantage in this fight, which is huge. He'll use the oblique kicks. He'll leg kicks. He'll need to watch what he's doing with the leg kicks without getting taken down. I just think he's going to use a lot of his funky techniques to really put Daniel Cormier off. And personally, I think Jon Jones is in Daniel Cormier's head. That's just me personally. We all know Daniel Cormier, Olympic wrestler, phenomenal wrestling. What he did to Dan Henderson last time out was phenomenal. Literally threw him in the air and just... it's unbelievable. I watched it back this afternoon. It's just a phenomenal feat what he did to Dan Henderson, and then stopped him by submission as well. But I can't see anything but a Jon Jones win. But I'm really hoping for a fantastic fight. So that's my picks. Jon Jones, I think he'll finish him late on. I think I'll go by submission in the 4th for Jon Jones. So that's my pick for UFC 182 Jones Cormier. I'll be back for UFC Fight Night in Boston. The return of the notorious Conor McGregor and some of his other Irish compadres. A very good fight night card with Benson Henderson, Eddie Alvarez as well. Keep your eye out for that. I want to wish everybody a happy Christmas, a great new year when it comes around, and I will see you at UFC 182. Follow me on Big Bubble 7 MMA on Twitter. Come follow the good guys in there. There's Mike, there's Rob, there's Andy, there's the Part and Shot guys who I listen to all the time. Really great guys. And then there's Kingdom MMA. Go follow them if you want to see some of the bets that I'll be doing for that as well. So all the best. Thank you.